killing negativity through Stoicism. In today's fast-paced world, it feels almost impossible to escape the constant flow of negativity. Every day we are bombarded by stress, negativity in the news, toxic environments, and internal battles. We wake up to a world that often leaves us feeling drained, defeated, and out of control. But what if I told you that you had the power to change all of this? What if I told you that a simple shift in your mindset could break the chains of negativity that bind you and lead you to lasting happiness? The key to transforming your life and silencing the negativity that robs you of your peace lies in an ancient philosophy, Stoicism. Stoicism, practiced by some of the greatest minds in history such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, teaches us that our thoughts and perceptions shape the reality we experience. If we can control our thoughts, we can control how we respond to the world around us, and in doing so, eliminate the negativity that clouds our minds. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, one of the most powerful men in the world, lived by the teachings of Stoicism. Despite the pressure, the wars, and the challenges he faced as an emperor, he found peace and wisdom through the practice of Stoic philosophy. One of his most famous quotes is, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is one of the core principles of Stoicism. We cannot always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. The world is full of negativity, whether from external circumstances, difficult people, or our own internal struggles. But Stoicism teaches us that negativity is not something that happens to us. It is something we allow to happen in our minds. We have the power to eliminate it, to shift our perception, and to focus our energy on what truly matters. Through Stoicism, we gain the tools to eliminate negativity from our lives. We learn to detach ourselves from toxic thoughts and emotions. We learn how to respond to life's challenges with resilience, wisdom, and clarity. And most importantly, we learn how to cultivate true happiness independent of external circumstances. Imagine being able to face even the most stressful moments with peace. Imagine walking through life without the constant weight of negativity holding you down. This is the promise of Stoicism, the ability to choose your thoughts, cultivate inner peace, and embrace a life of tranquility, no matter what the world throws at you. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the key principles of Stoicism that will help you kill your negative thinking and pave the way for a happier, more fulfilling life. These principles will teach you how to transform your mindset, how to reframe your negative thoughts, and how to build the mental resilience you need to navigate life's challenges. So if you're ready to take control of your mind, silence the negativity, and start living the life you deserve, keep watching. The Stoic approach to life will help you reclaim your peace and happiness, one thought at a time. Key 1. The power of perception. How many times have you found yourself in a situation where everything seems out of your control? People are rude, the day isn't going as planned, and you feel trapped in your own thoughts. In moments like these, it's easy to let negativity take over. But here's the Stoic truth. It's not the events themselves that cause our suffering, it's our perception of them. The Stoics believe that our emotional state is shaped not by the external events in our lives, but by how we choose to interpret those events. This is the first key to killing negativity, the power of perception. When something goes wrong, whether it's traffic, an argument, or an unforeseen setback, we often allow ourselves to become consumed by negative thoughts. Our first reaction is frustration, stress, or anger. But the Stoics teach us that this reaction is not inevitable. Our emotions, including negativity, are simply the result of how we perceive the situation. Think about it, every negative situation is filtered through our perceptions. If we believe that traffic is a problem, we feel the stress. If we view it as an opportunity to pause, reflect, or listen to an audiobook, it no longer holds power over us. The event is the same, but our perception makes all the difference. This is a fundamental Stoic practice, recognizing that the external world is neutral. It is only when we attach judgments or negative labels to things that we experience stress or negativity. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If we allow negativity to dominate our thoughts, we will inevitably find ourselves unhappy. But by mastering our perception, we free ourselves from this trap." Let's consider another example. You have a colleague who constantly interrupts you, makes unreasonable demands, and causes stress in your work environment. It's easy to feel resentment or anger toward them. But in Stoicism, we are taught that this person is not the source of our distress. The cause lies in how we perceive their behavior. Instead of viewing them as a source of irritation, we can choose to see them as a reflection of their own struggles, not a personal attack. Through this shift in perception, we stop seeing external events as personal attacks or obstacles. We begin to realize that people's behaviors, reactions, and the circumstances around us are not within our control, but how we react to them is entirely in our hands. When we learn to separate our emotions from the events around us, we open the door to true mental freedom. No longer are we slaves to every stressful situation. We learn that peace is not about controlling the world around us, but about controlling our reaction to it. And this, my friends, is where the power of perception lies. In the face of adversity, the Stoics practice something called amor fati, or love of fate. This principle teaches us to embrace whatever happens to us, not as something to fear or resist, but as an integral part of our life's journey. Every challenge, every difficult moment is a chance for growth, learning, and transformation. When you view setbacks through the lens of amor fati, you start to see life's obstacles as opportunities rather than burdens. By shifting our perception, we can eliminate the hold that negativity has on us. We stop seeing the world as something that happens to us and begin to see it as something that we can actively shape through our responses. The first step in killing negativity is realizing that we have the power to choose how we perceive the world around us. And by doing so, we take back control of our happiness. So the next time life throws something your way, whether it's traffic, a difficult person, or a stressful situation, remember this: you have the power to change the way you perceive it. By mastering your perception, you take the first step toward eliminating negativity and creating a more peaceful, fulfilling life. Key 2. Embrace what you can control. How many of you have felt completely overwhelmed by life's demands? The pressure to succeed, the endless responsibilities, the unexpected challenges. It can all feel like too much to handle. And when things seem out of our control, the natural reaction is often to feel helpless, frustrated, or anxious. Here's the harsh truth. Many of the things that cause us stress are simply beyond our control. We can't control the actions of others, the economy, or the events that happen in the world. And yet, we often waste so much of our energy trying to change or control things we simply cannot. This was a lesson that Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, learned early in his life. He often wrote in his meditations about the importance of focusing on what is within our power and letting go of what isn't. One of his most famous quotes is, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The second key to eliminating negativity is learning to embrace what you can control. This means focusing on what is within your power, your actions, your thoughts, and your reactions, and letting go of the things that are beyond your influence. When we let go of trying to control the uncontrollable, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress. We no longer waste energy on things that don't serve us. Instead, we channel that energy into what we can actually change. Think about it. How many times have you spent hours worrying about something that was completely out of your hands? How many sleepless nights have you spent stressing over someone else's opinion, a situation you can't control, or an event that hasn't even happened yet? All of this is wasted energy. The Stoics would argue that this is exactly the type of thinking that leads to negativity. When we focus on what we can't control, we rob ourselves of the peace and clarity that comes from focusing on what is within our reach. Instead of worrying about the uncontrollable, Stoicism teaches us to ask ourselves, what can I control right now? How can I use my time and energy in a way that aligns with my values and goals? By asking these questions, we shift from a mindset of helplessness to one of empowerment. By focusing on what we can control, we begin to take ownership of our lives. The external world may be full of uncertainty, but we are in charge of how we choose to react to it. The Stoics emphasized that the most powerful thing we can do is exercise control over our own responses, how we think, how we act, and how we choose to see the world. When faced with negativity or challenges from others, we have a choice. We can choose to engage with frustration and anger, or we can choose to respond with empathy, wisdom, and focus. The choice is ours. By practicing the Stoic principle of embracing what we can control, we stop letting external factors dictate our emotional state. Whether it's our work, relationships, or external circumstances, we take back our power by focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions. So the next time you feel overwhelmed or consumed by stress, remember this simple truth. You cannot control the world around you, but you can control how you respond to it. Embrace what you can control and let go of the rest. Key 3. Accept the impermanence of life. Life is constantly changing. Seasons shift. People come and go, and our circumstances ebb and flow like the tides of the ocean. But how often do we resist this natural process? How often do we fight against change, cling to the past, or fear the inevitable passage of time? The Stoics understood that impermanence is a fundamental aspect of life, and it is in accepting this truth that we find peace. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the understanding that everything in life is temporary. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the painful, all of it is transient. In the grand scheme of things, nothing is permanent. And it is precisely this truth, the reality of impermanence, that can set us free. Epictetus famously said, "Remember that you are an actor in a play, the nature of which is determined by the playwright. If it is a short play, then it is short. If long, then it is long. If you are asked to play the part of a poor man, do it with grace. And if you are asked to play the part of a cripple, do it with grace." In other words, life's circumstances, like the role we are given in a play, are not always within our control. What matters is how we respond to them. When we are faced with loss or change, whether it's the end of a relationship, a career setback, or the death of someone close to us, our natural reaction is often one of resistance. We want to stop time, cling to the past, or deny that change is happening. But the Stoic way is to embrace the impermanence of life and accept that change is not only inevitable, but necessary for growth. By accepting that nothing in life is permanent, we learn to let go of attachments, whether to people, things, or outcomes. This doesn't mean we stop caring. It means that we release our grip on the things we cannot control and find peace in the knowledge that everything will eventually pass. The Stoics believe that our attachments to things and people often cause us suffering because we don't recognize the impermanence of life. We hold on to things as if they are permanent, but in doing so, we set ourselves up for disappointment when those things inevitably change or leave. Life, like that sandcastle, is constantly being shaped by external forces. We can build and create, but we must also understand that nothing lasts forever. The sandcastle is beautiful in its fleeting existence, and so too is our time in this world. When we stop trying to control the tides, we can appreciate the beauty of the moment we are in, knowing that it is temporary but meaningful. When we embrace impermanence, we free ourselves from the fear of loss. We stop fearing change because we understand that it is part of the natural cycle of life. By releasing our attachments and accepting that all things will eventually pass, we begin to live more fully in the present moment. By accepting the impermanence of life, we allow ourselves to experience it fully. We can cherish the good moments without clinging to them, and we can endure the tough moments without despair. Change is not our enemy, it is the force that propels us forward, helping us grow, evolve, and find new meaning in each phase of our journey. So the next time you face a change, whether it's a loss, a new beginning, or something else entirely, remember this Stoic lesson. Embrace impermanence. Let go of attachment. Accept the ebb and flow of life, and find peace in the knowledge that everything, both good and bad, is temporary. It is only by accepting the impermanence of life that we can fully appreciate it and live in harmony with the natural world around us. Key 4. Reframe your perspective on adversity. In life, adversity is inevitable. We all face challenges, setbacks, and roadblocks. And yet, how often do we look at these moments as barriers rather than opportunities for growth? How often do we view adversity as something to avoid rather than something to embrace? The Stoics taught us a powerful secret. That adversity, when reframed correctly, can become a stepping stone toward our own improvement and fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, believed that obstacles were not signs of failure, but opportunities for growth. He famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very things we think are standing in our way are often the things that can help us become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Imagine being the emperor of an empire stretched across vast territories, constantly facing threats and challenges, wars, rebellions, betrayals. Yet, Marcus Aurelius did not see these difficulties as problems to avoid. Instead, he saw them as opportunities for personal growth and self-mastery. He knew that overcoming obstacles not only shaped him as a leader, but as a person. When faced with adversity, the first reaction is often negative stress, frustration, or a feeling of helplessness. But the Stoic perspective asks us to reframe these challenges. Rather than seeing adversity as something to dread, we can choose to see it as a lesson. We can choose to see it as a chance to exercise our virtue, to practice patience, wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. Reframing adversity is about shifting our perspective. It's about understanding that the obstacles in our path are not obstacles at all. They are merely stepping stones on the road to our personal evolution. Every hardship, every setback is an opportunity for us to become the best version of ourselves. It is through adversity that we learn what we are truly made of. Think about it. When was the last time you grew as a person without facing any challenges? When was the last time you made significant progress without encountering setbacks or failure? It's in those moments of struggle that we find our true strength. And the more we practice reframing adversity in this way, the more we come to appreciate the value of challenges. This reframing doesn't just help you face obstacles with more grace, it transforms the way you view life. You no longer see the world as something out to get you, but as a series of opportunities to test your character, your ability, and your resilience. So the next time you face an obstacle, stop and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this experience? Change your mindset, and you'll start to see every challenge as a stepping stone toward your ultimate success. By reframing adversity as a path to growth, we stop seeing ourselves as victims of circumstance. Instead, we become active participants in our own development. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen our mind, build our resilience, and grow in ways we never thought possible. Remember, the key to dealing with adversity is not to avoid, but to embrace it. The Stoic practice of reframing obstacles is a powerful tool that turns life's difficulties into the very things that help us grow. By choosing to see adversity not as a burden, but as an opportunity, we unlock the strength and wisdom within ourselves. Key 5. Practice self-discipline and control your reactions. Self-discipline is one of the cornerstones of Stoic philosophy. It is the ability to control our desires, our impulses, and our reactions. It's the power to act according to our highest values, rather than being driven by immediate gratification or fleeting emotions. And, according to the Stoics, it's not just a skill, it's a way of life. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, stressed the importance of controlling one's desires in order to maintain focus on higher goals. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful idea reminds us that our inner strength comes from our ability to control ourselves, not our ability to control the external world. In every moment, we are presented with choices that define who we are and who we will become. Self-discipline isn't about depriving yourself of pleasure. It's about making choices that align with your long-term values, rather than falling prey to the temptations of the moment. The Stoics believe that true freedom is found in self-control, not in indulgence or the pursuit of external pleasures. It's the ability to delay gratification in favor of something more meaningful that leads to a life of contentment and success. One of the greatest challenges in life is learning to control our immediate reactions. When someone cuts us off in traffic, when we face criticism, or when things don't go as planned, the initial response is often emotional anger, frustration, or fear. But the Stoics taught us that our true power lies in our ability to control those reactions. In moments like these, we have a choice. We can let our emotions control us, reacting in ways that we might regret later. Or we can choose to respond calmly and rationally, recognizing that our emotional reactions are often temporary and fleeting. By practicing self-discipline, we create the space between stimulus and response, allowing us to choose how we react rather than simply reacting on autopilot. Self-discipline in our reactions allows us to remain composed in any situation. It means responding to criticism with grace, approaching conflict with an open mind, and choosing calm over chaos. By exercising control over our emotional impulses, we maintain our integrity, our peace of mind, and our focus on what truly matters. One powerful tool that Stoics use to build self-discipline was daily reflection. Every evening, Marcus Aurelius would take a moment to examine his actions, his thoughts, and his responses to the events of the day. He would ask himself, "Did I act with virtue today? Did I act in accordance with my values?" This simple practice of self-reflection allowed him to build greater self-control and improve his actions over time. By incorporating daily reflection, we can cultivate a sense of mindfulness and awareness that strengthens our ability to respond with discipline. We can learn from our mistakes, celebrate our successes, and continuously improve our ability to stay aligned with our values. Through this process, we develop not only self-discipline, but also wisdom. The Stoics believe that the only thing we truly control in life is our own mind and our own reactions. Self-discipline is the key to mastering that control. When we choose to act with purpose, when we resist the urge to act impulsively, we strengthen our ability to create the life we desire. We free ourselves from the whims of our emotions, and we become the architects of our own destiny. So, practice self-discipline, control your reactions, choose to respond with wisdom and patience. When you master this skill, you unlock the true power within you, power that can help you navigate any situation with grace, calm, and purpose. Key 6. Cultivate gratitude and acceptance. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to take things for granted. We wake up, check our phones, rush through our day, and often forget to pause and appreciate the simple, everyday blessings around us. But the Stoics, wise as they were, understood the transformative power of gratitude and acceptance. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a way of life. And when we choose to cultivate it, we unlock a deep well of peace and contentment. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the essence of gratitude. We wake up each day not to another series of tasks or challenges, but to a gift of life itself. And yet, how often do we forget this? How often do we wake up with stress, anxiety, or frustration rather than appreciation? Gratitude is about shifting our focus from what we lack to what we already have. It's about realizing that even in the most difficult moments, there is something to be thankful for, whether it's the lessons learned, the growth we've experienced, or the support we've received from others. By intentionally practicing gratitude, we began to shift our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Incorporating gratitude into your daily life is one of the most powerful ways to cultivate peace and contentment. The Stoics didn't just practice gratitude for the good moments. They practiced it for everything, for the challenges, for the struggles, for the lessons. They understood that life is not about avoiding hardship, but accepting and learning from it. And through this acceptance, we find freedom. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It doesn't mean we accept things passively or stop trying to improve our lives. Rather, it means we accept reality as it is, without resistance, without judgment. It means acknowledging that we cannot control everything, but we can control how we respond to what happens. When we accept things as they are, we stop fighting against the current, and instead, we flow with it, learning from each twist and turn. Gratitude and acceptance are two sides of the same coin. When we cultivate a heart of gratitude, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of fulfillment, no matter what challenges we face. And when we accept things as they are, we release ourselves from the burden of expectation and embrace life as it comes. Together, these two practices create a sense of peace, a sense of serenity that cannot be shaken by the external world. By cultivating gratitude and acceptance, we shift our perspective on life. We no longer see ourselves as victims of circumstance, but as active participants in our journey. We begin to appreciate the small, simple things that bring us joy, and we start to accept the things you cannot change with grace and resilience. Through this process, we become more grounded, more at peace, and more aligned with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with the world around us. So make it a practice to wake up with gratitude in your heart. When things don't go as planned, remember that acceptance is not defeat, it is strength. By embracing gratitude and acceptance, you free yourself from the burdens of dissatisfaction and resistance. You allow yourself to experience life as it is, fully, without fear or regret.